Please don't buy anything from me. So it actually had a controversy. Let's not forget, so we're all humans.
That's very fascinating for me. And now here, everybody speaks Spanish.
You're a crazy person
Even though we work with the ethical factories, sometimes we have to, just keep an eye.
who wants it or not is interested in fashion. It doesn't matter. They're all participants. What did you have in mind before you asked me that question?
I was going into the suggestions and I saw your profile.
Sustainability is for me not it's a concept for me, and I was not only buying at Zara, by the way. Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to our Fashion for Change podcast. I'm here with Tafreed. My name's Izzy, and we're so happy to have you. We're gonna dive right into. Do you want me to read the question?
Yes,
Okay,
please.
cool. Okay, first question. How do you feel about this collaboration?
So first of all, hi Easy, how are you? Hope you have a wonderful day because it's a very great morning in New York and it's almost, I believe, afternoon in Berlin or wherever you are. So I feel very excited because this is my first collaboration with somebody like you with, in the sustainable fashion world. So I'm very excited because I believe I'm gonna be learning a lot and I'll be sharing my thoughts
Same.
with you too. So yeah, I'm very excited about it. What about you?
Also very excited. Very happy to be here with you, share my questions, I guess I have, and all the suggestions we may gonna have for fashion, for the fashion
Okay.
costume itself. And let's see
Yeah,
what we can, get people inspired maybe for.
of course. That's the thing, we have a wonderful community and we need to build awareness around that. So yes, I'm all into it.
Yeah, cool.
You.
Okay, so I'm based in Frankfurt, by the way. So how
Okay.
did you find me? I think that's a very good question, and everybody's like really willing to dive
Yeah,
into
that's
that.
actually a very good question. So I was, just scrolling on Instagram, especially, and I was, looking for the community and the people, around sustainability. And I was going into the suggestions and I saw your profile. And when I clicked on that and I was scrolling all over. So I told you that,
That's so
I
good
learned.
to know that this algorithm works. Like every day you show up and
Yes,
like you're
right.
putting like so much effort and like time into it. So that's okay. That's very good.
Exactly. So yeah, first of all, we appreciate Instagram for that. So
Yes,
that's
yes,
really
we do.
good
We
thing.
do a lot.
Exactly. So I saw your profile and I saw all your posts, especially most of them, and it was very good, very conscious, and especially when you explain about the brands and the things that's going on. That's very fascinating for me. So I actually learned a few things from that. That was very good, and especially the stories you upload. So I was looking at your it's so engaging. I was
Okay,
like,
good.
how she made that? Exactly.
So
How
happy to
you
hear that.
back blur your screen and put the other things. So
Yeah.
that's very good, That's a great idea, I believe.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
so
That's good
that's
to
how I
know.
find you. Um,
Wow, I think I was not prepared for, I think I've never actually asked you that question. I was not prepared for
okay.
the answer, so I'm so happy to hear that.
Oh, of course, of course. Just
And I
try to
think
be
it's
fair.
so it's so well noting that you were one of the very few people. So I was first of all trying to like also understand the community better and reaching out to people and
Huh?
basically putting the word out if somebody wants to talk. And you were really one of the like very few people who actually send a message to me. So I know that this is like really, I'm really grateful for that. So just putting that out
No,
there.
I'm actually grateful for that because I sent you a message and you were so happy to respond and the positive energy. I love that.
Okay,
So thank
good.
you so much, Ashley, to you. I do appreciate you and for your time. So I love that. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
honest,
cool.
of
Cool.
course.
Cool. Okay, so what else did we want to talk about? You have a question for me.
So yeah. Let me just ask. Okay. So when I was visiting your profile, I see, a lot of sustainable content and all that. So the question came up on my mind was, how it sparked you to make content like this and especially to dive into sustainable fashion because we all know, me know, and the people who are listening, they know that it's I would say, I don't know if I use this word or not, I should use
Hmm.
it or not, but it's a
No.
big war against fast fashion.
Yeah.
So it's a very big deal. So how, you build the confidence, or how did you come up with the idea to make things, or, to choose sustainable over the easy choices that we have right now?
Yeah, the easy and very accessible ones. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a
Yes.
very good point. I think I have to start by saying that I was raised very consciously, with a very conscious mindset by my parents. I
Okay.
was not so, basically, I was not so, I think even, let me start different. I think they were not even thinking about how they raised me, that this is like the sustainable and conscious way.
Mm-hmm.
But that I think, that was given, that was the way basically they were raised, right? And they just thought, it makes a lot of sense. And so thinking about, for example, especially like clothes and clothes what you wear. My dad, I always like to cite that one because it's really true and it's a good example. He would always use, like the very old t-shirts, which are like not you wouldn't give away, you wouldn't give to charity because they're just like really old, right? But he would
Mm.
always say like, all these old clothes, like it's usually it's still good cotton, right? It's maybe not white anymore because they're just old, right? But
Yeah.
I can still clean my car with this or like something else to clean with it because then like the cotton is really it's very soft, like it's really good for the car, right? Or for the bike
Exactly.
or whatever you have you. So, and that was, this is how I grew up, like all this repurposing of stuff, right? And if something was like broken or something, I mean, my mom is better than this than me, like mending stuff and so on. But we would give it to the tailor, right? And even like with their clothes, I think more than with ours, for sure, these days, I think it's very difficult and hard to find. Is that when you buy, I think t today in this time, we would call this bespoke, right? But back in the day, like even for my dad and like even earlier, basically, when they bought clothes, so first of all, they didn't buy that a lot of times, right? So second of all, when they bought clothes, they had usually a little more cloth inside. So basically, if your body would change, you can adjust the pants, right? And if it would
Mm.
have to be bigger or
Right.
smaller at some point in time, it would just fit because there was just a little bit inside. Now, I get that if you want to scale that, that's a lot of waste, I guess, in the industry because nobody is giving away free money and giving away all that cloth nobody needs is giving away free money. I get that.
Right.
But this is kind of like the idea how, Savile Row in London, the bespoke
Hmm.
area there, it's been built, right? It's been
Yes.
on tailoring and basically that you don't have to throw things away. You will have them for a lifetime because the fabric is very good and we can adapt it to kind of like the body type you have, right? In different kind of periods of your life. So that's one thing, how they raised me. The other thing is, to be honest, like I had bad experiences with
Okay.
fast
I'm
and
very interested to know that.
accessible fashion. So this it
Okay.
all needs like I think a turning point. I wouldn't say there was like one thing what happened which like really got on my nerves, but I clearly remember there was one part like I think the last item I bought at Zara was like 6 or 7 years ago, and I was definitely in a part because you know that like I'm an ex-banker, so I definitely had enough money to could have afforded something else, right? And I was not only buying at Zara, by the way, but I remember this very clearly because I wanted to have like a simple white t-shirt, like kind of like the one I'm wearing now, and a black one and whatsoever. I don't remember what it cost, like maybe 8 euros, 9 euros, something like that, like below 10. I'm pretty sure below 10. And I bought these two t-shirts, and when I washed them, because I also grew up with my mom saying like you always have to wash these things. Never really thought about how much chemicals are in there, how toxic really chemicals in there. But like, okay, so you have to wash it. So then I washed it, and really after the wash, it looked like a really bad car accident. And I've never even worn it once. So first of all, it was smaller, and then no, it was not my fault. I washed it the usual way I wash my clothes. But I was so mad at, putting, and here's the thing, what people don't usually calculate. So for me, it was like not only that, I brought them like 10 euros and I didn't get anything for this because I knew, I was too disappointed and sad to throw it away the same day But I can tell you, I needed a few days, but I would never wear it and I would throw both of them away. So that's one thing. There's another thing which is hidden, what people don't want to talk about, but this is very important in this whole process, is
Hmm.
the emotional deception. And this is to me, it's like an emotional cost, if you want to say so, right?
Yeah.
So for me, putting in the time of going to Zara, and usually Zara is like packed, so it's not really nice of, the whole experience and everything. So you
Right.
go in there, you put the effort in, you find the t-shirt or whatever you find that. Then you queue because there's like a lot of people. Like
Mm,
all this time was just completely
exactly.
wasted because I have never ever worn this shirt. So there's this one thing, €9 is wasted. Okay, whatever. A lot of people say like, hey, if it costs the same amount as my sandwich, then who cares, right?
Yeah.
For me, it's like taking the like, and to be honest, like the older I get, the more valuable time for me is, or I see time as very valuable. Like
Yes.
thinking about like this is even a decision point, thinking about now, like does this, is it really worth it? Like going in there and maybe thinking that you find something, and then, and then there's another thing, the deception of buying something new which you cannot wear because it's already broken. So there's like a lot of things here, right? So and this was just,
Right.
and like I'm not exaggerating, like really not. Like I'm somebody who's like super into fashion. I've always been very creative. I love to dress myself. It's part of my identity, right? I express whatever mood I feel in, right?
Huh?
And if something like this goes wrong, I can tell you my mood is really not good. Like there's like that there's like on different kind of levels, on emotional, like different kind of costs I have there. It's just a waste. And then also, I'm thinking there's another thing which comes to mind now. Also, now, especially because I'm more into sustainable fashion and everything. Like, I'm thinking, like, somebody somewhere put the effort in, sit down, and most probably not one person, there were several persons involved, several steps, and made this garment. And now here I am washing it and can't even wear it. Like how much of a waste is that? And that's actually disrespectful to the people who actually made this garment. Like it's not my
Right.
fault, it's Zara's fault. But like here's the thing, like it's on so many levels disappointing, right? And I thought this was like, so I remember this very clearly because this was not for me about really the money. It
Hmm.
was more than, I wanted a very quick fix. And I this quick fix ended in a crisis for me because I spent money, I wasted time and effort, and I was short on a t-shirt. Like this was
Exactly.
like a complete fail, epic fail, really. So, and I remember this so vividly, thinking like I've always been a person who is like, back in the day, like 10 years more, 10, 15 years ago, when I was still like at high school and so on and so forth, I basically remember that when I would be traveling, I would be on holidays with my parents and I would like somewhere in Europe also, and I would get like a dress in Spain or something like that. And it was not normal back in the time that, you could ship this to Germany, right?
Yeah.
So, and when you came back from holidays, it was kind of unique. It was special, right? People were like, "Oh, you're wearing something nice." And then I would usually have the story behind all of this. I would say like, "Oh, this is the label. Ah, I got this from there and there, and Sevilla and Madrid and da 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 da." So, and it was kind of like this whole story and this whole experience, right? So it's not all you. To my mind, you're never only buying um because of maybe the purpose of clothing is that you're not naked, right? So you're dressed. So
Yeah.
but beyond that, like there is design, there's creativity, there is self-expression, there's like so much more connected to it. And it's, by the way, also, so before, that's actually a very good point. Before before you talk to a stranger, you kind of, no matter where, like at the metro station, at the bus station, I don't know, like somewhere at the supermarket, you always consume with your eyes. And what you consume is what you see, right? You see the
Right.
clothes, you see how the person like stands there, the mimic, and the gestic and all of that stuff. And so it's kind of like you're a walking visual, I don't know, like kind of like a billboard for yourself, something like that. Before even
Oh,
talking,
yeah,
you're kind of like talking the whole time because you're talking the way you dress, right? And
exactly.
you behave and stuff. So all of that, I guess, like the way I was raised and finding this now that actually this was a very conscious way, and this helps me like a lot. Like in everything what I do now, it helps me like a lot.
Right.
And like these bad, and I'm pretty sure there were a few more, but this is vividly
Yeah.
what I remember. I was thinking like, okay, this was, it was bothering me that I had to throw something new, somebody made and put effort and hours into this and I would be throwing it away. So I found this as like a really big problem, right? And when you check a little bit, wait a second, sorry. When you check a little bit what's going on behind who made this, then well, there's a lot of hidden stuff which is not so.
Exactly. So the first things first of all, thank you so much for sharing all that. That was a wonderful answer. Yeah. So the first thing I'm gonna be saying what is because that's a core of Zaishin, which is sustainability and ethical production. So
Yeah.
as you give the example that it cost you $9, same as a sandwich, I'm pretty sure it's gonna co cost them to make it about $1 or $2, not more than that. I'm sure about that. And second of all, it's not just a waste of time of the people who are making that, but it's also the waste of time people like you or me who go out, spend time
Yep.
there, spend money there, bought it, came back home, just wash it as our parents said that, or
And it's good
and
that they said that, by the way. That's
exactly.
a
Otherwise,
problem.
exactly. Otherwise, the chemical's gonna on us.
Yes.
So exactly. So that's good the thing that we, wash them, and then this happened. So it's just a, complete cycle of waste.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
it's just a basic thing that we should be understanding. And the second thing is you were saying about the reuse clothes that that you told me the wonderful story of your father that how he explained to you.
Yeah,
And
he did.
the last time we actually met behind the podcast was, I also told you the same story that how my mother, I went out and came back and I saw my t-shirt on the floor and I was
Yes,
like, what is
I
going
love that.
on? And my
I
mother
love
was like
that. Our
mopping the
parents would be
floor.
very good friends.
Yeah, the next thing I saw my mother was doing mopping the floor with my t-shirt and she was like, it's torn. And you cannot wear it, so I don't want
Yeah,
to throw it out. I just reuse it.
yeah,
So yeah, I was a little bit disheartened, but because that was a very comfortable t-shirt. I could wear them at night. So so that at least that was a repurpose of
yeah,
that. So I'm happy about that. So
yeah.
that's the environment that we, grew up. And especially as your father said, that's a cotton thing, and by the time it get more better. And I believe I was actually doing my research, and it says the polyester thing just came up, some decades ago. It wasn't there about
15. Yeah.
sorry, 950s you
Fif-
said?
Yeah, 15. About 15.
Yeah, exactly. So at that time they were, not so aware of that. They just use the
Yep.
organic material. So
Yep.
it was good. They can reuse that clothes for a long time. They made it to last. So, but right now they're just, I believe running behind the money, making,
So
getting
that's
rich much
one
without it
thing.
now.
So you have a point there without taking too much time from you, but you have a point there. The other thing is our polyester friends would tell you these clothes are also made to last. The thing they want to talk about. Well, they have one point. I mean, that's true, right? But
Hmm.
the thing is, the the longer you wear it, the more often you wash it, it's going to cost our planet. So that
Exactly.
every time they shed microplastics. And don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
like I also have polyester stuff in my and it doesn't help the planet that we all put this together and, take it to Peru and put it in the Atacama Desert or something like that. But the thing is like I'm just trying for myself not to buy anything anymore, which is polyester, right? That's
Right, exactly. So that's very interesting thing. So I was actually, doing my research and I was talking to some of the manufacturers because, I'm also looking for production for our brand.
right.
So even we say that recycled the material and all that, which is very good, at least dumping better than dumping out
Yep.
or throwing it
Yep.
out. but still, when we recycle the polyester, it's still shred whenever we wash. So it's like a complete cycle that never gonna end.
Yep.
Once we made that,
Exactly.
even if we go to recycle that, during the recycle, it's gonna, do the micro shredding. When we come buy it, it come home and gonna be doing that thing again. So it's like a never-ending cycle. So I believe maybe we should that, go for the sustainable materials and because that would be a better thing for the planet. That's why the fashion is the second most polluted industry in whole world after
Yeah.
the oil and gas.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the thing that, we should be thinking before we buy. Even I say by myself, don't buy it, even from my brand. Don't buy it. I say it loud. I said everything you need to have is in your closet.
Already.
Go back and look over there. You have everything. But if you want to buy something new and if you feel like, not feel like, if you need to buy something,
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Do you like it or do you need it? But that's like
you need it.
the
Exactly.
hard questions.
So
That's
yeah, I
it.
corrected myself. I'm sorry. So yes, I said if you need it, don't feel like. If you need it, just go for the sustainable and ethical production thing. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So I
So
believe, yeah.
how, I mean,
Huh?
how did you, what was the point in, so at some point in time of your life, I think it was
Mhm.
very early on, you were like a participant like everybody else in fashion because as I said, like if we don't dress, then we're naked, right? So everybody who wants it or not is interested in fashion, it doesn't matter. They're all participants, right? So we're all in this together. So when was the time where you thought like it's maybe an interesting world to deep dive more into? So what was the kind of thing which sparked interest in fashion to you as thinking about also maybe strategically, like as a business, that maybe you do want to change something there? When was that? Or was there a period of time or a situation or something you remember?
So that was a very good question. That is. So there are two phases of me. The
Yeah.
first was just to jump in fashion. I didn't know about sustainability. I didn't know about ethical production. I didn't know anything.
Same.
I
Same.
just jump in the fashion.
Yep.
And the second phase was when I, dived deep into it and I was like, wait a minute, what is going on? You know? So do you want me to go to with a phase two or phase one?
I want you to get me to the verge from phase one to two.
Okay. So yeah, as I was doing the business, I was in selling clothes. As you know, my story is I came from Thailand.
Yeah.
So I have a big story over there, big background where I was, selling in online and I have captured some of the market over there. And since I came here and also in Thailand, when I saw people, making clothes that are not lasting long and there are people who is not getting minimum wages
Hmm.
over there.
Hmm.
So in Thailand, but most likely, in our countries like Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, because that's the famous countries that big brands
Yeah.
also source from.
Yeah.
And we all know about what happened to Rana Plaza. I'm sorry, we just celebrated the anniversary. So
Yes. We
plus
just
there's
had Fashion
those
Revolution work. Yeah.
exactly. So I was thinking because at the end we all know that we are human beings. You, me, a person in a third world country, or a person in a first world country like we are, has the same basic needs that we need
Yep.
to have to live.
Should have the same basic rights, but it's
Exactly.
but
So we are equals because we are humans. So why not that people or that person is getting the same thing? At least not I'm saying that, away them the $1 million, but at least the basic things so they can survive with their family, with their kids, with their wives. Because over there, the women not working, or even in this industry, women are working too to sew clothes
yeah. Yeah.
and they're not getting the wage or the benefits that they should be getting.
Yeah. Right.
So this is when I come up to say no more to fast fashion.
Hmm.
It's hard to transit, but it is the best choice. And it is the choice, the only choice to sustain and to make the world a better place to live in for everyone.
Yep.
So next time when you come, or so
Uh,
next time in the future, hopefully when we open the store of our brand, so nobody come to us and buy clothes and go back and wash it, and they cannot wear. So I'll
I
make
was
sure that it's not gonna happen.
that was such a good example. It's a very bold example, but you reminded me of I was thinking of Patagonia few
Okay.
years ago. I don't know if
Hmm.
you remember, they had this very bold ad saying, so basically in the ad, it was a photo, just photo. You saw one of their down jackets.